Child labor is a reality that touches millions of young lives across the globe, shaping their futures in ways that are often heartbreaking and unjust. Behind every statistic, every report or news headline, there is a story of childhood interrupted, of dreams deferred, and of resilience in the face of adversity. Today, let us journey into the world of child labor through the eyes of one child and discover how a single spark of hope can ignite a powerful change. In a small village nestled between rolling fields and distant mountains lived a boy named Arav. His family, like many in the region, depended on seasonal harvests and daily wages to survive. The house they called home was modest, its walls weathered by years of monsoon rains and searing summers. Yet within those walls, laughter and love tried their best to thrive against the odds. Arav was just 9 years old when his world changed. His father fell ill, unable to work the fields. With each passing day, the family's savings dwindled and the pressure mounted. The local factory, with its constant hum and promise of income, became both a beacon and a shadow. Despite his tender age, Arav joined the ranks of other children who rose before the sun, their footsteps echoing in the early morning mist as they marched toward the factory gates. Inside, the air was heavy with dust and the scent of machinery. Little hands worked tirelessly, sorting, stitching, or carrying loads far too heavy for their bodies. The supervisors barked orders, counting quotas rather than birthdays. For Arav, school became a distant memory, replaced by the rhythm of work and the hope that each day's wage would bring food to his family's table. Yet even amidst hardship, the spirit of childhood flickered. Arav would sometimes sneak glances at the fields beyond the factory, imagining himself running free, chasing dreams he could barely remember. The other children, too, shared whispered stories of a life beyond labor, a life of learning, of play, of possibility. One day, a new face appeared in the village, a woman named Priya, who worked with an organization dedicated to ending child labor. She listened to the children's stories, her heart aching with each tale. She saw not just workers, but students, artists, and future leaders trapped in a cycle they did not choose. Priya began conversations with community elders, with parents, and with the factory owners. She spoke of laws, of rights, but most importantly, she spoke of hope. Change, as it often does, came slowly. Priya and her team offered evening classes, bringing books and pencils to children who had never held them before. They organized meetings showing families that education could lift them from poverty, that investing in their children's futures would yield rewards beyond the next paycheck. Some resisted, fearful of losing the little income their children brought. But gradually, hearts and minds began to shift. Arav, hesitant at first, attended one of Priya's classes. The classroom was simple, a few benches under a large banyan tree, but for Arav, it felt like stepping into another world. Letters and numbers danced across the pages, unlocking stories and knowledge he had never known. Priya encouraged him, nurturing his curiosity and celebrating every small achievement. As more children returned to learning, the village began to transform. Families found new ways to support themselves, with adults gaining skills through workshops and microloans. The factory, under pressure from local authorities and advocacy groups, agreed to hire only adults and provide better working conditions. For Arav, the change was profound. No longer weighed down by the burdens of labor, he rediscovered the joys of childhood, playing with friends, dreaming of the future, and embracing the wonder of learning. His laughter returned, stronger than ever, echoing through the fields that once seemed out of reach. The impact of child labor extends far beyond lost years and missed opportunities. It robs children of their health, their education, and their potential. Physical tolls, aches, exhaustion, and injuries are compounded by emotional scars. The constant pressure, the absence of play, and the exposure to harsh conditions leave indelible marks on young minds. Some children, like Arav, are able to find their way back, but countless others remain trapped, their voices unheard. However, the story of Arav and his village reminds us that change is possible. It requires compassion, determination, and collective action. Organizations around the world continue to fight for children's rights, lobbying for stronger laws, better enforcement, and increased access to education. Communities, too, play a vital role by supporting families, challenging harmful practices, and celebrating the achievements of their youngest members. Education is the cornerstone of this transformation. When children are given the chance to learn, They unlock doors to opportunity that benefit not just themselves, but entire communities. Educated children are less likely to fall into cycles of poverty and labor. They grow into adults who can advocate for themselves, innovate, and contribute meaningfully to society. Yet challenges persist. Poverty, lack of access to schools, cultural norms, and economic pressures continue to push children into labor. The global pandemic has exacerbated many of these issues, with millions of children at increased risk of exploitation and abuse. Addressing child labor requires a multifaceted approach, one that tackles root causes and provides sustainable alternatives. The journey toward a world free from child labor is ongoing. It demands awareness, the recognition that every child deserves a childhood. It demands advocacy, speaking out for those whose voices are silenced. And most of all, it demands action, supporting organizations, volunteering, and holding governments and businesses accountable. Arav's story is both a testament to the resilience of children and a call to action for us all. Through kindness, education, and the courage to challenge injustice, communities can break the chains of exploitation and offer new beginnings. Each child who returns to the classroom, each family that finds hope beyond daily wages, is a victory for humanity. As the sun sets over Arav's village, casting long shadows across the fields, the laughter of children rises on the evening breeze. It is a sound that carries with it the promise of change, the echo of dreams reclaimed, and the unwavering belief that every child, everywhere, deserves the chance to flourish. The fight against child labor is far from over, but every story of change brings us closer to a world where childhood is cherished and protected. Let us remember Arav and all the children like him as we strive to build a future defined not by hardship, but by hope, opportunity, and the boundless potential of youth.